hazard is expecting too much of where we are idealistic. So in this case, not just expecting too much in the partnership area, but of yourself, your own basic identity that you should be perfect and only do the right thing. And since we're always human, none of us ever make it. My favorite motto is I will be God tomorrow. Today it's okay to be human, on the way to perfection, but enjoying the journey and not waiting till I get there to be happy. So that's pretty essential, that you be able to enjoy the process of moving towards the ideals and not kick yourself because you haven't arrived yet, not expect the impossible of yourself as a human being.
Sounds ideal.
Right on. That's number one, the main thing you want to get across to that person. The Jupiter rising and Pluto ruling the ascendant in the ninth house are both identified with God, with being perfect, and the East Point in Sagittarius says it again. 3 times it's saying, I should be God, I should be perfect. And the first thing you're going to say is, my favorite motto is, I'll be God tomorrow. It's okay to be human on the way to being perfect. And we'd also say, you have a tremendous need to do something well, but keep your expectations reasonable. You know, don't think you can do everything well. And accept the fact that it takes failure in order to really learn anything and grow. If we do it right the first time, we didn't learn anything. We already knew how to do it. If we do it wrong and correct it and do it better, and correct it and do it still better, we're really learning something and growing. And it's often very hard for perfectionistic types, Virgo types, to accept failure and falling short. So they have to excuse themselves, permit themselves to be human and have failures and grow towards something more. And it is real important for the person to have something that they feel a sense of accomplishment. And unless they set reasonable expectations, they'll never feel like they did enough. So reasonable expectations are just absolutely crucial in this chart. But it also is a chart where they shouldn't just sit down and do nothing. They would absolutely go crazy. They would hate themselves, and they would have to be sick if they did that with that much Virgo and Capricorn. They have to feel a sense of accomplishment. It's something, they need to find something they can do well, and then take satisfaction in doing it.
It's a pretty strong Saturn up there, but it's in a weak house, I would think.
Where were you when we talked about Goklan?
Maybe it wasn't a
Weak?
Isn't
The
the weak
strongest houses in the chart are the 9th and the 12th.
Well, as far as expressing outwardly,
As far as expressing outwardly, unless you're inhibited and lack faith. Goklan calls those the powerhouses of the chart, and everything he has found emphasizes the 9th and the 12th as the strongest houses in the chart. That's your ultimate ideal. And if you turn anything into God and do it in that way, it's going to be the most powerful thing in your nature, and it's going to show the strongest in your life. But if you doubt and have lack faith and inhibit, then you're going to have weakness, because you're blocking it. Been misinformed by bad astrology in the past.
and I really haven't put it to any use, and that's one of the reasons I haven't, because they started out by teaching me that the first house was positive, the second was negative, and
I know.
the third gone on.
Rotten astrology. Rotten astrology.
One was overt and the other was invert and all that sort of thing. Well, you know the second house is not invert because that's...
Of course not. It's your pleasure in the physical world, your possessions, and your appetites. And true that the 12th house is inner in the sense that it's the unconscious. It's the search for the absolute at the unconscious level. And for the people who are not inhibiting it, of course, a lot of astrologers were, and then they saw clients who were, so they saw the negative side of it. But when Goklan worked with highly successful, famous people, the top of the line, the planets in the 9th and the 12th house were the strongest keys to their character and their vocation, both. And the most probable place for Mars in sports champions, in surgeons, and in military leaders, the most probable place for Mars is 12th house. There were more Mars in the 12th house than all the rest.
Enjoy yourself.